Welcome dear students, I am Dr. Wankhede and in this lecture I am going to start third unit of third year's Electronics and Telecommunications Digital Communication subject. The code is 304181 and the title of this unit is Random Signals and Noise. So what you have studied in unit number 1 and unit number 2, we will take short recap of that and we correlate what is the significance of random signals or random processes with respect to the unit number 1 systems and unit number 2 systems. As per unit number 1 is concerned, it is baseband communication system, especially for the digital signals. That's why in that unit you have studied sampling process, quantization process, compounding process. Then you have studied various baseband transmission and the reception system like pulse code modulation transmitter, pulse code modulation receiver, delta modulation transmitter and delta modulation receiver, then adaptive delta modulation transmitter, adaptive delta modulation receiver, differential pulse code modulation techniques and linear predictive coding. So these many systems you have studied. All those systems in past years, you can say around 10 years back, systems of transmission and reception of the digital signal, those were being deployed for our landline telephone communication. So all those systems you have studied in unit number 1, those are derivatives or those commercially utilized in telephone systems, for landline telephone systems. In those systems, what you can use as an information, you prefer speech signal as an information signal. That speech signal is converted into digital form using sampling, quantization and encoding, and then that binary digital signal is going to be transmitted through the cable, and then it is in the reverse manner it is going to be decoded. So this is a process of converting our signal from analog to the digital, and then it is going to be transmitted. And as here we are not going to use higher carrier frequency waveforms to transmit our signal to the longer distances, so this kind of the system is called as a baseband system. When you use a huge frequency carrier signal to transmit your information signal, though it is been converted into the digital, then it is called as passband signals, passband systems. But here we have not used any carrier signal which is going to be transmit your information signal, that is called as a pure baseband signal. So that is about the first unit. In the first unit, you assume that your information signal is sinusoidal, you convert it into the staircase quantization process, and then you prefer to use some encoding technique to convert it into the digital. But in real world, no sinusoidal is going to be used for representing our information. There is no standard sinusoidal, triangulars, cosine waveforms, those waveforms isn't used because we are complicated. When I am speaking something, obviously my speech is complicated. When I am shooting something, that video is complicated. That is a complex signal. It is not pure sinusoidal, it is not pure cosine waveform, it is not pure sinusoidal waveform. But that waveform is a combination of sine component and cosine component. That is a complex waveform. And when the complex waveform comes into the picture, when you are referring to the complex systems, in that case you cannot predict anything. You cannot predict at all. So when you are not predicting anything, it means that all the signals are random. Your information is random, and when information is random, we don't know that which size of the staircase we should prefer, step size we should prefer to approximate our information signal. Sometimes I speak very loudly for some time. So in that case, the staircase should be of more step size. But when when my loudness is very less or my speech signal is having amplitude very less, in that case, I must prefer small step size for quantization, isn't it? So this indicates that my signal is not predictable. My signal is not predictable, and according to the current amplitude of my speech signal, that adaptive size of the steps should be taken. Means the random step size can be considered to approximate my speech signal. So in such kind of the situations, we must know the information about the random signals. In unit number 2, what we have seen, the time division multiplexing systems, frequency division multiplexing systems, and the codes written to 0, non-written to 0, Manchester code you have seen, and synchronization issues we have seen in second unit. As per second unit is concerned, it is more towards the multiple access kind of the system. When there are number of the users, when users are more than one, then how we can club the information signals of coming from those sources with respect to the time, or rather with respect to the frequency. So this is TDM and FDM systems, and again the receiver and transmitter designs are quite different for both the systems, because sampling rate should be more for the TDM and sampling rate should be twice for the FDM. As when you are talking on phone, then that should be 8 kilohertz of this frequency we must use. Then we should know that when the signal is propagating over the channel, then which line coding we must prefer. If we have some power constraints, then we should not go for the return to 0 kind of the line codes. In that case, we must go for the Manchester code. Or when we have a issue of the security, in that case also Manchester is the good option. So why we studied line codes? Because we should know that this is our system, and our system is needed the power constraint, our system is needed the bandwidth constraint, our system is having the security aspects. So when we ought to fulfill all these constraints, we must know that which line code is essential for our application. So also that selection is not deterministic, selection is a random one, isn't it? So our information is not deterministic, our processing is not deterministic. Means in real world, in unit number 1 and unit number 2, though you have studied the systems, those having deterministic approach, but in real time no signal, no system, no process is deterministic. Each and every process, each and every signal is a random signal. And that's why this unit is quite interesting to learn, because there is nothing constant. As in the world, there is nothing is been constant. Time to time everything is changing. Temperature is changing, humidity is changing, traffic is changing, then the speed is changing, noise is changing. Whatever you are listening, whatever you are talking, you don't know what you are going to talk after 1 minute. You don't know. It is not deterministic. It is a random signal. That's why this is quite interesting to know when the systems and signals are not deterministic, when they are random, then how you can process your information signal, how you are process your information signal, and how you are going to work on that particular signal so that it can give you the desired outputs. Because when the signals are not predictable, in that case, how you should deal with that. So when such kind of the signals comes, you must understand the knowledge of statistics. You must know the knowledge of random signals, random process or stochastic process. There is one more word, that is in stochastic. Random, dynamic or stochastic. These are the words used for random process. So what is our agenda in this unit? Our agenda is to learn different types of stochastic process or random process, and the scope of this unit is very short. This is not huge unit. The scope is very short. In this unit we are going to see the definition of random process or stochastic process. We are going to see stationary, first type, stationary random process. Second type is non-stationary random process. Third type, ergodic random process. And last one, Gaussian random process. This is the only scope of this unit. These many types, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 types of the random process we are going to see. So when we see all these random process, these define using mathematical modeling. Now what is that mathematical model? We find some entities like statistical mean, that is also called as ensemble value or mean. Second is we are going to find the auto correlation, and in some cases we are going to see cross correlation. So as per mathematics is concerned, we ought to find out the equation of mean for stationary, non-stationary, ergodic and Gaussian. Similarly, we find out the equation for autocorrelation for stationary, non-stationary, ergodic, Gaussian, and for this entity or this term cross correlation we are going to find out for stationary, non-stationary, ergodic and Gaussian. So this is the only scope of this unit. Variety of the mathematical models are available. With reference to our selected random process, we prefer to use that particular mathematical model, and that mathematical model is differentiated using only 3 terms, that is an mean or the ensemble value, autocorrelation and the cross correlation. As per these 3 are concerned, you have already studied in the signals and systems subject of your second year in signals and systems. In the last unit you might have studied the random process, I think. So the primary equation, fundamental equations are same, but how they deviate with reference to the Gaussian, how they deviate with reference to the ergodic, and how they differentiate with respect to the stationary or the non-stationary process, we will going to see that. But before that we will learn that how random process is going to be defined, how it is going to be defined. So we will take so many examples in this session so that you get clear about that, the concept and the entities used for that particular particular theory, that is called as an information theory. Those words you should know. If you just absorb the words, it will be easy for you to understand the concepts of the random process. Now before starting in detail about the properties of the random process and types of the random process, in this lecture we are going to introduce only the random process. How we can define the random process, what is random variable, what is sample space, what is sample function, what are the outcomes. So these terminology you should know before starting the analytical part of the unit. Now consider as an example, you resides in one city, for example, you resides in Nasik city, and daily we are monitoring the temperature of the city. Early in the morning, suppose at 7 o'clock, if early in the morning the temperature is somewhat 18 degrees centigrade of Nasik city, for example, up to 9 am that temperature rises to 21 degrees. After 3 hours that temperature rises to suppose 30 degrees. At 12 am, 12 pm, at 3 pm, for example, again it rises to 33 degrees centigrade, and at 7 again it reaches to 24 degrees centigrade. At 6 pm, and in the night 9 pm, if it again reaches to the 18 degrees centigrade. So this is this pattern, you can say this pattern is our day's pattern for temperature in particular city. So this is, you treat it as an day 1. If you record the temperature for second day again, so might be not 18 degrees but might be 18.5 degrees, might be 18.5 degrees centigrade, might be the temperature in the next day, might be it is 22 degrees at 9 am, at 12 am might be it is 31 degrees, isn't it? At 3 might be it is 34 degrees, means 1 degree more as compared to the previous day. At this day it might be 25 degrees, and at this it is 19 degrees centigrade. But the pattern is same, isn't it? The pattern is, it is increasing, it is increasing, it is increasing, and then it is decreasing in a night. So this is second day's pattern, day 2. So likewise, if we collect the information of the change in the temperature in a particular city at 9 am, if we collect the information at particular city at 9 am, then what you are going to observe, the temperature at 9 am at day 1 is 21 degrees centigrade, day 2 it is 22 degrees centigrade, on day 3 it is 21.5 degrees centigrade, and on nth day it might be suppose 23 degrees centigrade, isn't it? So these are called as an outcomes of our random process experiment. Whatever we have done up till now, that is called as a random process experiment. This is an experiment, and in that experiment you recorded temperature of a particular city of particular time at particular time instances, 7 am, 9, 12, 3, 6 and 9. So you recorded there is a variation throughout the day, but simultaneously there is a variation in day 2's the same time, day 3's same time, there is a variation. And what was that variation? 1 degree variation. Here it is 0.5 degrees variation, here it is 1.5 degrees variation, isn't it? So at the same time, same clock hours, you recorded temperature for different days, but though you observe that there is a difference in the temperatures. It means the signal is not predictable, signal is not deterministic. You cannot say that after 7 days at 9 am the same temperature you might observe. You cannot say that. There is no 100% probability into that. You cannot say certainly. That's why when you record something and it is not going to be predictable, then you can say that it is a random process, random signal or stochastic signal. So what I am going to do now, I am going to write down these values into one block. So I erase the graphs and write down these values of temperature at day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, but at the same time 9 am. What I have observed that it was at day 1 it was 21 degrees, on day 2 it was 22 degrees, on day 3 it was 21.5 degrees, and on day 4 it was 23 degrees centigrade. So if I write down in this way, in this manner, then you can call this space. This is nth day, you can say. Nth day means there are number of points into this. This can be treated as an nth day. Okay. So these many samples, sample 1, sample 2, sample 3 up to the sample n, you observe the temperature and there is a variation. So this space is called as an sample space. Sample space. And if you plot this sample space on a graph, for example 21 degrees over here, then sample space 2 22 degrees, then this is 21.5 degrees and then 23 degrees. Okay, if you plot it, then this is S1, S2, S3 up to the Sn. This is called as a sample function. Sample function. This is called as a sample function. Means this is a sample space and the plot which is representing in graphical way, this is called as a sample function. And as we have run this experiment for number of days and we observe that there is a variation in the temperature at the same time 9 am, it means the received records of the temperature are not constant. Hence you can say that this is a random signal. This is called as a random variable. That's why this is called as a random variable, and this particular experiment is called as a random experiment. So I hope you have cleared about the concept of the sample space and sample function.